JVP supports ruling UNP-SLPP, but they all end up in defeat. Namal in premiership dream attacks Ranil and Prasanna. Patali criticises stand taken by Dullas. Patali has once again become a newsmaker. SJB crisis spreads. Madhuma Bandara left helpless.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
JVP supports ruling UNP-SLPP, but they all end up in defeat. The unthinkable is happening now with a presidential election at hand. Just yesterday, a JVP member joined together with the ruling SLPP and the UNP at a budget vote. It happened at the Elpatia Pradeshya Sabha. However, they ended up losers, with their rivals being the SJB as usual and, surprisingly, some SLPP members. With previous 3 attempts at passing the budget defeated, Chairman Karuna Sena Ponnamperuma had to resign. Presented by his successor, Nalin Priyadarshana, the budget was supported by 12 members, including JVP's Udaya Priyantha. The opposing side was stronger with 14 votes, while 3 were absent. Some take this as a sign of an extensive alliance about to be formed. Others do not take it that seriously. That is all the more because there had been instances where some let go of party policies and used their votes to get even with heads of local bodies over personal enmities. The JVP member in Elpatia too seems to have certain animosities towards his party, but quite a different political reading is evident here. Rajapaksas launched the SLPP during the final stages of the good governance regime. Just a few months later, they had overwhelming wins at local government polls. But Elpatia could not go to the polls due to a court case. Its election took place on 11th October 2019, very close to the presidential polls. All 17 wards were won by the SLPP, and it secured as many members, while the UNP had 7, UPFA 3 and 1 went to the JVP. That gave a hint at what would happen at the presidential polls. Now, the next election for the president is at hand. The UNP is divided with its breakaway SJB in the lead. The SLPP too has lost ground and the JVP is quite a formidable force as the MPP. Political analyst Mahesh Hapagoda says it looks like the political camps get divided sharply. The lines of division are getting clearer with the upcoming polls. With Compass playing its own game, Mahinda, Chandrika, Maitri, SLPP, Lanza and Dhamika will rally round or extend support to Ranil. If needed, even Sajith could set aside all personal disputes and come to an agreement with Ranil, says Hapagoda. It could well be that Ranil is planning just such a game. Maturity alone cannot help take things out of trouble. Even thinking anew could help in a big way. Attempts at creating a phobia against experimenting should not be taken seriously. Even in world history, people experimented and came out of trouble, like from the Dark Age in Europe. Personages in example were Copernicus and Galileo, adds Hapagoda. In the meantime, the previously anti-JVP academics and political critics have now begun seeing things in a different light. Some find it something like towing with the trend. In the end, it is up to the electorate to decide. Namal in premiership dream attacks Ranil and Prasanna. The SLPP is deeply divided over extending support to Ranil if he contests for the presidency. Prasanna Ranatunga and other loyalists want President Wickremesinghe to be given 5 more years, but Namal questions their stand. On Wednesday, Prasanna said in Gala that he personally believes the SLPP had no right to avoid supporting Ranil at the presidential election. If the SLPP is without an optional candidate, it is proper for it to support him, he told journalists after the District Coordinating Committee meeting. He also said that it was SLPP leaders who decided to make Ranil the president. By now, he has overcome the economic challenge and is solving other problems. The party he contests from and the symbol are open to dialogue, Prasanna observed.
අරගලේ වෙලාවේදී අභියෝග බාරගත් නායකයෙක්. ඒකට එතුමාට අගමැති වෙලා ජනාධිපති වෙන්න ඉඩ දුන්නේ අපේ පක්ෂයෙන්ම තමයි එතුමාව ඒකට පත් කරේ. ඒ නිසා මේ වෙලාවේදී මම විශ්වාස කරනවා මේ වෙලාවට වෙන විකල්පයක් නැත්තම් එතුමාව තමයි අපි දාන්න ඕනි කියලා. ඒ නිසා තමයි මම මේ කාරණාව කියන්නේ.
However, what Namal says has some basis. The president wants to divide the SLPP and get some into his own camp. We will not be duped by that. Anyone in our party is free to express ideas as they see fit. We're unlike Sajith Premadasa, who throws them out. But, in the end, the final decision is up to the Politburo, Namal stressed. With the budget already passed, making lawmakers happy is pointless. We should go for a deal with the people, Namal pointed out. But Wajira and Ravi K., who are negotiating a UNP-led alliance, say they do not have any intention of dividing the SLPP. Both Mahinda and Basil have already agreed to support Ranil, according to them. Then, why is Namal talking like that? Some say he is eyeing the premiership or the opposition leader position. It may be that Namal is sending out feelers to see if Ranil will propose him to either position in order to appease him. Basil has the final say, so everybody is eagerly awaiting his arrival on March 5th. Patali criticises stand taken by Dullas. Patali has once again become a newsmaker. Coming out of his hibernation, he now goes canvassing with his new programme, meeting and talking to all the parties and political groups. On Tuesday, he met with Namal Lanza's new alliance and the Freedom People's Congress led by Dullas. In the morning, Lanza, Anura Yapa, Duminda and Alaji Yawane met Patali at his office. First, they talked about Patali's proposal for an extensive alliance. Lanza and Duminda asked him if he is willing to give presidential candidacy to Ranil if such an alliance is formed. He did not give a direct answer and said the objectives of an alliance for the presidential election may differ from one for the parliamentary polls. Anyhow, they agreed to finalise a candidate by June, with a condition that the SLPP should not be a party to any of that. It looks as if they are having an understanding on a common path. Later in the day, Champika went to the FPC office along with Paranawithana, Bandula and Shiral. Dullas was flanked at the talks by parliamentarians Charitha and Tilak, along with former CPC chairman Sumith. Being old friends, they had a chat about power, ideologies and gossip in politics. Charitha explained an alliance proposed under the CPSL and also about a front against the International Monetary Fund. Patali remarked that it is against politics to have a baseless stand against the IMF. Stressing the need for all parties to reach consensus on snap general elections, the URF leader said he was already making attempts towards such an alliance with Dilith Jayawira, Dayasiri Jayasekara, Wimal Weerawansa and others. He asked Dullas to meet with the Lanza faction too. Among the topics at all these meetings has been the popularity of the Compass. From a 3% vote base, it got to work first of all, and has today come to occupy the top position. In an attempt to counter that challenge, Patali is meeting with everybody else to bring them to a single camp. SJB crisis spreads, Madhuma Bandara left helpless. The crisis in the SJB is spreading like a virus. Those in the party blame it on Sajith's conceit. Sarath Fonseca has openly declared war. Kabir Hashim and Thalatha Atukarala have made it a habit to avoid party meetings. The latter just ignored call after call given by Lakshman Kiriella to get her to Kandy for the women's rally. Harsha De Silva and Iran Wikramaratne are more or less the same. The latest is reported from Kalutara. The one involved is Jagath Widhana, who along with Prasanna Amarasekara were introduced to politics by Rajitha Senaratne. Those ties are not there anymore. Both are wealthy businessmen, which made them eligible to be SJB electoral organisers. Jagath from Mathugama and Prasanna from Bulatsinhala have been having an undeclared war with Rajitha and Ajith P. Pereira for some time. Their dispute exploded over an incident about organising a meeting to be attended by Sajith. Prasanna has used choice language against Ajith and Jagath and took it into the open at a media briefing later. A video of the event has gone viral in social media. Sajith just seems unimpressed by any of these, although Jagath has even threatened SJB General Secretary Madhuma Bandara that he would quit the party if Prasanna is not expelled. The latter went to Hong Kong thereafter. Attempts by Madhuma Bandara to settle it received no response from either of them. It is said that Prasanna will be back with a crossover in mind. His closest friends are arranging the needful. Now, Sajith has to put out the fast-spreading fire on his home front, although a presidential election is at hand. Our prediction that this election is going to take a previously unheard-of shape is proving to be correct. Only the NPP minds its own business and beefs up its fortress. In the midst of all, international interventions are becoming apparent. Winning will not be easy. The player with the best game plan will be the winner. That's it for today.